There is something wrong. Shouldn't you already know? Should've spelled it out. Let me put it in a song. Every time you make that face, like crawling to a damaged space, out of sync and out of tune, that frequency I can't undo. Please listen close.
Hello and welcome to FFS. I'm Paulina Galindo. And I'm back. I know it's been forever, but I'm back and I'm ready to dive into this week's story. But first, let's talk about some news this week. Kamala Harris announced her VP pick this week, Tim Walz. Now, you would be forgiven for not knowing who this is, so let me tell you. Currently, Tim Walz is the governor from Minnesota. He also previously served as a congressman from Minnesota. Before that, he was a command sergeant major in the National Guard, a high school teacher, and a football coach. While he was a teacher and football coach in the 90s, he sponsored and was a faculty advisor for the Gay Straight Alliance. As a governor from a state with one seat majority, he ensured reproductive freedom in his state and made sure everyone had access to gender-affirming healthcare. He legalized marijuana in the state. He signed into law a bill that provided every child with free school lunches and breakfasts and more. This is a man who has lived progressive values for his entire life. It's so refreshing to finally have a bit of good news for once. On top of that, this is what he had to say in his first rally as the official VP nominee.
J.D. Vance literally wrote the foreword for the architect of the Project 2025 agenda. Like all regular people I grew up with in the heartland, J.D. studied at Yale, had his career funded by Silicon Valley billionaires, and then wrote a bestseller trashing that community. Come on! That's not what middle America is. And I gotta tell you, I can't wait to debate the guy. That is if he's willing to get off the couch and show up. So. See what I did there?
Okay, let's get into our main story tonight. Wait, what? Seriously? I left for 3 fucking weeks and when I come back, we're still doing this? Right from, yay, Tim Walz, into this fucking pit of despair? Project 2025 Part fucking 5? I just want to ask the writers, what did I do to deserve this? I guess we're going to pick up on chapter 20, the VA, page 644. Gives us this quote: rescind all departmental clinical policy directives that are contrary to principles of conservative governance, starting with abortion services and gender reassignment surgery. Neither aligns with service-connected conditions that would warrant VAs providing this type of clinical care, and both follow the left's pernicious trend of abusing the role of government to further its own agenda. This is a mouthful that tells us that they don't know what the fuck the VA does, on top of them being hateful little snails. Neither aligns with service-connecting conditions that would warrant VAs providing this type of clinical care. The fucking VA provides healthcare for disabled veterans, not just for their service-related injuries, but complete healthcare. A disabled veteran falls and twists their ankle, they go to the VA for care. A disabled veteran is pregnant and needs prenatal care, they go to the VA. The VA is a healthcare organization for disabled veterans, not just for their disability, but for all healthcare that they need. So saying that abortions and gender-affirming care aren't service-connected doesn't fucking matter. Healthcare is healthcare, and to deny people who serve this country needed healthcare is just plain anti-American. Full stop. And furthermore, how is someone who apparently doesn't have the first fucking clue what the VA fucking does remotely qualified to write policy regarding the VA? They don't. Somehow, Brooks Tucker was the chief of staff for the VA under Trump. Why am I not fucking surprised he has no clue what the VA does? So we can just throw the rest of this fucking chapter in the garbage. Fuck you, Brooks. Your name is stupid. Your first name is a last name, and your last name is a first name. Seriously, that's fucking weird. Oh, section 4. We finally moved on from section 3, after 3 fucking weeks. Section 4, the economy. This is the party that thought all those Chinese tariffs were a good idea and only hurt US citizens. So this should be fucking good. Chapter 21, the Department of Commerce. Climate change denial rears its ugly head here as page 664 wants to dismantle the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration. This is especially diabolical when you look at what NOAA actually does. NOAA is the parent organization of the National Weather Service. They forecast the weather and are responsible for hurricane warnings. They chart the seas and conduct deep sea exploration, manage fishing in U.S. territorial waters, and safeguard endangered and protected maritime species. But the one thing that they do that has brought them the Era of Heritage Foundation is they dare to monitor the climate. All those data points that scientists point to when they tell us that the Earth is warming, they come from NOAA. Apparently, if you can't refute the science on merit, you just dismantle the organization that collects the information. If you don't measure the climate, then it's not changing, apparently. Page 673 has a weird bit talking about prohibiting technology exports to Russia because they are an adversarial nation. Has someone told Angry Creamsicle about that? Then page 674 repeats the desire to dissolve NOAA, citing that it has become one of the main drivers of the climate change alarm industry, and as such is harmful to future US prosperity. Holy fucking shit. You can't make this fucking shit up. Page 678 starts a section on the Census Bureau, with page 679 stating strong political leadership is needed to increase efficiency and align the Census Bureau's mission with conservative principles. The census literally just counts people. How can that be either liberal or conservative? It's just fucking counting. Oh, here it is. Page 680. Add a citizenship question. Adding this question will result in non-citizens and undocumented people refusing to be counted. The purpose of the census is to count all of the people in the US where they live. Because despite your feelings on immigrants, documented or undocumented, they do live in our communities and do use the resources that need to be properly distributed. Failure to accurately count the people in your neighborhoods leads to failing infrastructure and government services that can't meet the demand. But we all know that's a feature, not a bug. Okay, chapter fucking 22, Department of Treasury. Page 692 has this to say. The national debt expanding by more than $4 trillion in Biden's first 2 years in office. No president in modern times, perhaps ever, has been more fiscally reckless than has the Biden administration. Notice how that number stops at 2022. That's because if they looked at any years after that, they would have to admit that the deficit is actually falling at this point. Even worse is the straight lie that is no president has been as fiscally reckless as Biden, when the stable fucking genius racked up a massive $7.8 trillion deficit. But go on. Page 696 brings us this bit of joy. They want to increase the base income tax to 15% and eliminate, quote, most deductions, credits, and exclusions. So to fix Trump's runaway spending, they want to shift that burden to the lower and middle class, because fuck actual Americans, I guess. Seriously, this will destroy America's lower and middle classes. And if you weren't getting tired of being fucked, they need to drive it home a little further down the page where they want to remove excess taxes on drug manufacturers that compel them to comply with Medicare price controls. Because they aren't satisfied with just ruining you financially, they also apparently want you to die. They also want to eliminate stock buyback excise taxes, eliminate taxes on investments, and reduce the state tax while increasing the exemption to $12.9 million fucking dollars. Also, their cronies can get even fucking richer at your expense. Page 697 would also see a portion of your benefits, dental or medical care taxed like income, and then tax your retirement plans on distribution. They just want to squeeze you for every penny they can while the rich get richer. This is sickening on so many levels. Then we get to page 708, the equity agenda. Holy fucking shit. I think this part was written by Goebbels' ghost himself. They want to identify every treasury that has participated in DEI initiatives, then interrogate them, publicize every internal communication regarding DEI, then terminate every employee that participated in it? Jesus fucking Christ. What the fuck were they thinking making this public? Holy fucking shit. On to chapter 23, Export-Import Bank. First off, we should explain what this is. The Export-Import Bank provides subsidies for American companies that have to sell their products in markets where the products sell for less than they cost to make. Pretty simple stuff. This chapter, however, is absolutely self-conflicting. It was written by two different authors. One argues that the bank is bad and needs to go, and the other argues that it is good and it should stay. So I guess we could just call that chapter a wash and move on. Chapter 24, the Federal Reserve. Page 737 calls for the U.S. to return the gold standard. I fail to see how this is even possible, though. since there is more value currently in US dollars than there is in gold in the world. To do this would cause economic upheaval and hyperinflation, crashing the value of goods and bankrupting businesses. Like, was this written by a 5th grader? What is the thought process here? The rest of this inane chapter is just more incoherent MAGA ramblings. This is where we're going to leave it for tonight. Thank you for watching, and make sure to tune in next week when we continue on the shit show that is Project 2025. Thank you and good night.